Hello everybody, welcome back to the sessions on power electronics by Ramana. This is the 8th session, and before this session we have discussed the fundamentals of power electronic devices, the working and characteristics of some important power electronic devices like SCR, GTO SCR, MOSFET, BJT, LASCR and IGBT. And apart from all those power electronic devices which we have discussed, there are many more power electronic devices with different ratings which will be suitable for different sorts of applications. But when it comes to the particular thyristor family devices and SCR, it is the foremost power electronic devices which is sought after for any power electronic applications, particularly for the normal single phase and three phase applications and regular rated DC supplies. So SCR is the most extensively used one, of which we have discussed many things elaboratedly regarding its construction, characteristics, ratings, turn on and turn off. And we pretty well know that to turn it on, either we have to reach the breakover voltage so that to bring it into on state, or we have to apply some positive voltage between gate and cathode so that it will enter into on state at lesser breakover voltages. So the control of SCR as a switch to turn on according to our requirements by gate control is pretty clear. And the other most important thing is, once SCR enters on state, the gate loses control over its conduction. That is, we cannot turn it off with gate control. Only the device which can be used for turning it off via the gate is GTO SCR. It can be used for many applications which is a development over SCR, but again its applications are somewhat limited. And so in this session we will be focusing our concentration on SCR turn off and its turn off procedures. Why we have to discuss this turn off? Why we have to find some ways to turn it off is because SCR is basically used as a high frequency switch. That is a switch which will be turned on and off with very high frequencies according to the requirements of the load, where we will condition the waveform or we will be controlling the parameters. So that is why we require to control the turn off time also. Not only the turn on time, we have to control the turn off time also. And the basic point, we already know that turn off times are very longer when compared to turn on times. So to suit to the higher frequency of switching, not only the turn on time, we have to control the turn off time also, and we have to make it as less as possible. And there are so many ways of turning off SCR, and which require a lot of time to explain. So actually the SCR turn off procedures will be discussed in 2 sessions, that is in this 8th session and also in 9th session. In this particular session we will be discussing the importance of turn off of the SCR and commutation. We will be discussing the importance of proper turn off, necessity of commutation, classification of commutation methods, working of various commutation circuits. Again, in these commutation circuits, we will be discussing only three out of the 6 circuits. Turn off of SCR. It is pretty clear that it means turn off of an SCR means as bringing up the device from forward conduction state to forward blocking state. Turn off of an SCR doesn't mean that we should bring it from on state to the zero voltage or zero current state or totally off state. It is not required. Instead of that, what will we be doing is we will be making the SCR to come from forward conduction or on state to forward blocking state, so that we can avoid the fraction of turn on time which is required from the zero current to the forward blocking state. So that will be always be ready to be triggered just by giving a gate pulse at the required moment. So that is how turn on is achieved, and it is always kept ready to be turned on. That is, it is kept ready in the forward blocking state. So while turning on, that will be done. So when we are using it for high frequency on and off applications as a switch, obviously we want it to be in the forward blocking state. So that is why in all these discussions, the turn off of an SCR means as bringing up the device from forward conduction state to forward blocking state. That is turn off, and whenever it is required again from this forward blocking state, it will be brought to forward conduction state by turn on, proper turn on. So for this turn off, it requires that two important parameters are to be controlled. First is the anode current. Its anode current should fall below the holding current. So whenever the current flowing through the SCR in the on state falls below the holding current due to some reason, then it will come to the forward blocking state or off state. But again, it will not be just sufficient. Even when the gate signal is not there in the forward blocking state, if the voltage increases up to some value, even less than the forward breakover voltage during this condition, it may turn off falsely. That is why even though current falls below the holding current and comes to forward blocking state, a reverse voltage should be compulsorily applied across it for a sufficient time so that it regains the full forward blocking state. Full forward blocking state should be regained. For that purpose, reverse voltage should be applied for sufficient time. This we have already discussed in the previous sessions, where the circuit turn off time, TC, or now it will be called as commutating time. The circuit turn off time should be greater than the device turn off time. Device turn off time is the time taken by the device to fall from forward conduction state to forward blocking state only. So for the purpose of power control or power conditioning, an SCR must be turned on and off at high switching frequencies as desired. It is because of this thing we are discussing this turn off. But once SCR starts conducting, gate loses control over the device. Hence, external means may have to be adopted to turn off the SCR. So to turn off this thing, these two conditions have to be hold good. These two conditions will be satisfied and brought into the circuit conditions, maybe naturally, or we have to adopt some external procedures by incorporating some extra components into the circuit other than the SCR to make turn off to be possible. That procedures are called as commutation procedures, or Commutation is the procedure of turning off of an SCR. The turning off procedure of an SCR itself is called as commutation. But how is it done? What is actually commutation mean? Just go back to our DC machine working, where the current flow, which is in case of a DC generator, the current generated inside the armature is AC in nature, that will be converted into DC when it comes as the output. So that bidirectional current inside the armature is converted into DC or unidirectional current with the aid of commutator in case of DT. When you go back to the procedure of commutation in case of DC, just try to recall that what is happening in that commutator. When the commutator is rotating, the brush contact will go on changing with the commutator segments, and there comes a condition where the current flow is diverted from one commutator segment to another commutator segment, where a particular coil will be short pitched. We will not be going to those technicalities into deep, but just it is similar that it means to divert the path of current flow. Depending on this, and to achieve these two conditions for a turn off, several commutation techniques are developed to reduce the turn off time. SCR commutation techniques use resonant L and C or underdamped RLC circuits to force the current and or, that is either current or voltage or both of the SCR to 0 to turn it off. The classification of commutation techniques is based on the manner in which the anode current is reduced to 0 and in the configuration of commutating circuits. Configuration of commutating circuits means how the commutating components are connected. What are the commutating components? These external components which are connected in the circuit either in parallel or in series with the SCR. That can be a combination of L and C, and also some other diodes, freewheeling diodes, and also some other auxiliary SCRs. Those things we will be discussing in the follow-up session. When it comes to the classification of SCR commutation, it is mainly classified into two types: natural commutation or forced commutation. Strictly speaking, it is AC commutation or DC commutation. It depends on the source. When the source is AC, there comes a natural zero voltage, natural zero current in a given half cycle. So it will be called as natural commutation. So this particular commutation is possible only in the case of AC commutation circuits. And amongst all the classification, this natural or AC commutation is categorized as class F commutation and also named as line commutation. Line means as the line voltage changes or line current changes, it will be commutated. That is why it will also be called as line commutation. The next one is DC commutation, where the source voltage is DC, in which the DC voltage and DC current both are constant. They will not become zero until the source is cut off or we do something to cut off those voltage and currents so that they will not flow into the load. So to do that, obviously we have to employ some other means or some other procedures and employ different circuits to forcefully turn off the SCR or to forcefully decrease the anode current or to forcefully apply a reverse voltage across the SCR. That is why it is called as forced commutation. Again, forced commutation is divided into two different types: current commutation and voltage commutation. Again, this classification is given on the basis of What is the actual procedure involved in turning off the SCR? In the current commutation, there will be a reverse current flowing in the SCR, which will decrease the SCR current, that is load current. Whereas in voltage commutation, reverse voltage will be instantly applied across the SCR and eventually current decreases. It will be called as voltage commutation. Current commutation is further divided into class A commutation, which is also called as load, self or resonant commutation, class B resonant pulse commutation, class C complementary commutation. Voltage commutation is divided into class D impulse or auxiliary commutation, class E or external pulse commutation. Just remember them as in the sequence: class A, B, C, D, E and F commutation, which is natural commutation. Now we will discuss class A commutation first. Class A commutation is also called as load commutation or self commutation or resonant commutation. To this commutation to be possible, to make this commutation to be possible, we have to choose the load and commutating components, that is L and C, such that these three will fall under resonance. That is why it is called as resonant commutation. And also that the resultant circuit should be an underdamped circuit. Because of the underdamped nature of the circuit, current tends to increase to a maximum value and then tends to fall down. This you can recall from the underdamped nature of any circuit, where there will be an overshoot and undershoot and overshoot and undershoot before reaching the final value. So when the first overshoot becomes 0 and try to go into the reverse, that is undershoot, before that we have to turn it off. So these the load and commutating components are chosen such that load by itself makes the current to fall to 0. And again, there are two types in this. When the load resistance is high, the commutating components are connected as shown here, C in parallel, and when the load resistance is low, the connection is all L, C and RL are in series with the SCR. The source current or load current should have the tendency to decay to 0 for load commutation to be possible. And essentially that is achieved by choosing the commutating components and loads such that the circuits are underdamped. And because of the underdamping nature of the circuit, the current I first rises to a maximum value and then begins to fall. It is at this point we will try to achieve that. By this time it should be totally turned off, and we will try to turn it off from this moment where the current tries to decrease. When current is falling to when the current is starting to decay or starting to fall, there turn off will be started and it will last and continue till it becomes 0. It will become 0. At this time, the current flow is opposed by the inductor current, as its polarity gets reversed due to fully charged capacitor. Simply take the case of this one. First, load current is flowing via SCR when it is triggered through RLC combination, and obviously now the capacitor gets charged with upper plate as positive, and these values or resonating values are chosen such that the current flow is opposed by the inductor current, as its polarity gets reversed due to fully charged capacitor. That is, now when the capacitor is fully charged, it won't allow any further current. So naturally it starts to decay. At the same time, the inductor current will also oppose the forward current of the SCR. Thus, eventually the current decays to zero, and when it tends to become reverse, SCR is turned off by that time. By that time, SCR is turned off. Okay. So this is the total turn off. And again, when you can turn it on. So this is called self or resonant commutation or load commutation, where it turns it off itself by self nature or nature of the circuit. First we have to choose the load and commutating components so that they will form a resonating circuit with underdamping nature. Underdamping circuits where zeta will be less than 1. So that is about load commutation or class A commutation, which is the simplest of the one for DC circuits. For DC circuits, load will be simply resistive. L and C are the external components, which are commutating components. And the next topic is class B or resonant pulse commutation. Quite similar to the first case, that is class A. Class B commutation will also employ L and C as commutating components, but with a difference that in this circuit the commutating components will not carry the load current. In case of class A commutation, in both the configurations, load current will be flowing through the commutating components. Load current will be flowing through the commutating components, so they have to be rated for higher currents and voltages. But in case of class B, L and C are connected in parallel with the SCR, and when the SCR is turned on, the load current flows via the source SCR and RL, and there will be another path for current where it flows from the source, inductor, capacitor and load current. But this will be a very small current flows via this, because you know that the capacitor blocks the DC current. Means in this path what happens is, gradually charge will be developed or voltage will be developed across the capacitor. The upper plate charges to plus and bottom plate charges to negative. A constant load current IL flows through the load. This is the assumption made for all the commutation procedures. In some circuits, the current is maintained constant by connecting a large reactance in series with the load and a freewheeling diode clamped it. That is, across this load, there will be a freewheeling diode and there will be a high reactance connected in series with the load, so that the current will not change rapidly. And with this, it can be concluded that this is not only the circuit which can be used for class B, and to be specific, for any commutation procedure, the circuits which we are going to discuss, they are not the only circuit configurations which can be used for commutation of SCRs. For all the commutation procedures, the orientation of LC and the other auxiliary SCRs may be designed in a different way, but prime motto will be to turn the SCR off by decreasing the anode current and applying a reverse voltage across the SCR. In this slide, we are discussing this particular circuit where SCR is turned on only after the capacitor getting fully charged, as shown in the circuit. That is, this will be turned on only when this capacitor is charged fully. So go back to our discussion. When source is on, SCR is off, capacitor charges to its full voltage. Then when SCR is turned on, the load current flows via the SCR through IL. SCR through IL. And the capacitor discharge current flows through the SCR. This being the positive terminal of the source, anode, load current flows like this. Now capacitor has already been charged equal to the supply voltage. So capacitor will also discharge from the external circuit, that is via this anode SCR, and again comes back, or capacitor will discharge in this circuit, that is L, SCR and C. It will discharge. While this discharging, what happens? After some period, the total discharge period, total positive charge accumulates over the bottom plate and total negative charge gets accumulated over the upper plate. So polarity of the capacitor gets reversed. Fully discharged capacitor will then start to discharge itself, making a reverse voltage to appear across the SCR. So the action of SCR will be simply charge. Once it is fully charged, before the SCR is on, it is fully charged. Once the SCR is on, it will be continuously discharging in a given direction and opposite in the next discharging condition. This condition prevails and this should be in resonance or tune with the turn on and off of the circuit depending on the load requirements. So when the SCR is on, capacitor discharges via SCR with the same direction as the anode current, that is commutating current will be aiding the anode, will be in the direction as anode current, and once this polarity is totally reversed, then it starts to discharge in the reverse direction, where a reverse current flows via the SCR to oppose the anode current. So eventually the anode current of SCR becomes less than the holding current and it gets turned off. This is where it becomes zero and it gets turned off. This is the reverse recovery current time. During that, a reverse voltage should be available, that is again because of the capacitor it will be possible. As a reverse current is flowing across the SCR, it is also called as current commutation. The SCR will turn off when the commutating current becomes more than the loading current, load current. So that is the working of class B or resonant pulse commutation. We will just go through a simple animation video to understand this resonant pulse commutation with a different configuration. This is another circuit used for class B commutation, where another extra SCR which is called as auxiliary SCR is used for commutating the main SCR T1. As usual, LC circuit is chosen for resonance nature, and there is a diode connected in series with this combination. Initially, when both main SCR and auxiliary SCR are off, then when you switch on the supply, DC supply, there will be only one path which is there. Just follow the animation. Source, capacitor, inductance, diode and load, where diode will be forward biased, but there will not be any full current flowing. Simply capacitor gets charged as shown in the figure, plus minus. Then when you trigger the main SCR on, T1 on, the current flows via the source, main SCR, and the load or load current flows as per the requirement. It is the actual circuit, and this is the commutating circuit. After some time, when you want to turn off the main SCR, the auxiliary SCR will be turned on. Because of this, now capacitor discharges via the auxiliary SCR and the inductor, and what happens is it discharges completely, and at the end of the discharging, its plates get reverse polarity, where the right side plate becomes positive, left side plate becomes negative. Where load current is still flowing via the SCR. Now, as this plate has become positive, this SCR2 is obviously reverse biased, or reverse voltage will be applied, so it will be turned off. Now, capacitor tries to discharge in the other path which is available. Again, there are two paths, load and SCR. When compared, this load will be have more resistance path when compared to this direction. So now capacitor starts to discharge from this positive terminal inductance and forward bias diode into the cathode of the main SCR and back to the negative terminal. That is, this capacitor, because of this capacitor, a reverse current flows into the main SCR via this forward biased diode. So main SCR will be turned off. Main SCR will be turned off. That is how it will be turned off. So that is how main SCR will be turned off, by using an auxiliary SCR. In this, no auxiliary SCR is used, but in both the cases, the pulse which enters the cathode of the SCR is due to the discharge, continuous charge and discharge in anode to cathode and cathode to anode direction. When it flows in from cathode to anode, it becomes the commutating current, eventually decrease the load current and also the SCR current, so it turns off. That is why it is called as resonant pulse commutation, which is a sort of current commutation. The next type of commutation is class C, or complementary commutation. As we can see from the circuit, there are two SCRs connected in the circuit, where SCR1 is the main SCR which we want to turn off. The other SCR2 is an auxiliary SCR which is utilized to turn off the SCR1. But different from what we have seen in the video, that auxiliary SCR. In the previous video, the auxiliary SCR was not carrying any load current, but in this circuit, SCR2 or auxiliary SCR2 will also carry load current for some time, and the eventual action of both these SCR1 and SCR2 will be such that they will be complementing each other. That is, when one of the SCR is turned on, other SCR gets turned off, and the procedure reverses. That is why it is also called as complementary commutation. Again, in this circuit, either you can use a simple C or LC. This circuit is employing only a simple C. C or LC switched by another load carrying SCR2 or auxiliary SCR2, which turns off the main SCR1. When SCR1 is on, load current flows through the load resistance, main SCR, and also the capacitor gets charged through other resistance. It is as simple. When you go through the circuit, when the source is on, the straightforward path is load resistance RL via the SCR1 is the first path, main path, and current will also, or voltage will be applied across the path as shown. The other resistance are capacitance, SCR1 and source. As SCR2 is off, it will not be flowing like that. So the other path for the current is via RC and SCR1. Because of that, this right plate of the capacitor will get charged up to positive, or capacitor gets charged in this polarity. And after some time, when you want to turn off the SCR1, simply turn on SCR2. Simply turn on the SCR2 with Ig2 SCR2 turn on. Once the SCR2 is turned on, immediately reverse voltage will be applied across the SCR1 and the current will be shared, or it will flow via the load resistance, this resistance and SCR2. Or when SCR2 is fired, a reverse voltage will appear across the SCR1 to turn it off, and the capacitor starts to charge with reverse polarity through RLC SCR2. Capacitor starts to charge with reverse polarity like this: RL, C and SCR2, RL, C and SCR2. Then when the SCR1 is turned on again, the first step will be repeated and SCR2 gets turned off. So when SCR1 is turned on, capacitor gets charged through the external resistance R in the direction via SCR1. But when SCR2 is turned on, the load current flows and capacitor gets charged via RL itself and the SCR2. So in this mode, this resistance will not be carrying any current. And as soon as SCR2 is fired, reverse voltage will be applied, SCR1 gets turned off. And once SCR1 is turned on, again SCR2 gets turned off. Again the first condition prevails, where load current flows via RL SCR1 and capacitor gets charged in the direction shown from the external resistance and SCR1. This is complementary commutation. As the two SCRs respond to turn off each other, it is called as complementary commutation. Complementary commutation, it is quite simple, but the main drawback is you need another extra SCR to turn off the main SCR, and also the load current is flowing through the SCR2, so you have to select the auxiliary SCR also to have ratings equal to the main SCR to suit to the load requirements. Again we shall have a quick look over the an animated view. Voltage source, main, auxiliary SCRs. This is the load resistance and external resistance capacitor. Initially both are off. Even when you switch on the supply voltage, nothing will happen to the capacitor, but when SCR1 or main SCR is on, when main SCR is on, current flows where the source, load resistance and SCR, and also the other path is source or external resistance R and capacitor and SCR1. It gets charged in this polarity. And when you want to turn off the main SCR, then you will simply turn on the SCR2. When SCR2 is turned on, now the current takes path like this. Also, by that time here a reverse voltage will be applied, not only in this direction but also because of the capacitor. So the commutating current will be more than the forward anode current of this SCR. So this SCR gets turned off, or the total voltage applied across the SCR will be the source voltage and also the capacitor voltage. So main SCR turns off. Now current continues to flow via the load resistance, capacitor and SCR2. So now this capacitor gets charged with left plate as positive and right plate as negative. Left plate as positive and right plate as negative. And when you want to turn on the SCR1, you simply will turn it on because it is in correlation with the load requirement. So when you turn on the SCR or main SCR, now it will act as a short circuit, or now the load current flows via the SCR1 or main SCR, and capacitor also discharges via the main SCR in this reverse direction, or cathode of auxiliary SCR become positive. SCR2 will eventually be turned off, and these procedures will continue one after the other so that we can use them as per our requirements. That is the beauty of this computation. As these SCRs complement each other, it is called as complementary commutation. It is the simplest one and automatic one, but costlier one, where you need an extra SCR. You need an extra SCR to turn off the main SCR. The waveforms for all the circuits which we have discussed are self-explanatory. Not going much into those things because of the time constraint. The main motto is to understand the procedures of working of the commutation circuits. So far in this session we have discussed the importance of turn off, why the turn off should be given importance, what is the need of discussing the turn off, and why to employ different procedures to turn off, and why what is the turn off procedure called, which is commutation, classification of commutation, working of various commutation circuits, different types of commutations, classification, then class A, class B and class C commutations, and all the commutation circuits, whether A, B, C or the other commutations D, E and F, which we will be discussing in the next session, that is 9th session. These commutation procedures are chosen according to the requirement of the nature of the load and the switching frequencies you require to manipulate the waveform or signal or condition the waveform of the current which will enter the load. And obviously DC commutation is nothing but DC commutation is done forcefully, so it is called as forced commutation. AC commutation occurs naturally, that is why it is called as natural commutation, called as class F, which will be discussed in the next session. So that is all for now in this session. We will be discussing the remaining commutation procedures of SCR and also compare these commutations depending on their merits and demerits in the next session.